Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to come here join you on Orap, and thanks Serge and the organization for inviting me here. I will share you some information from China, especially for the the Tianhe-2 systems, and help you to understand what we are working for, especially for our efforts to establish the capable platform for the convergence of HPC and big data. This is my outline of my talk. Firstly, I will give you an overview of our center. So National Supercomputing Center in Guangzhou, we have the machine Tianhe-2. Actually, it's a project. It's a big project supported by the National High-Tech R&D program. We call it A63 program. Actually, this is a very important program in China, which started at the year 1986 and March. So that's why A63. But this project has ended last year. So in the past 30 years, the project has supported many important achievements in science and technology in China. Now it's in China, we have the 13th five-year plan now. Since last year, Chinese government changed the national scientific and technology program for new systems. So no A63 program again, but we have a new one, which I will mention later. For Tianhe-2, it's during 12th five-year plan is supported by the most Ministry of Science and Technology. Actually, the Tianhe-1 system is also supported by this project. About our center, the NICC in Guangzhou, which is joint constructed by the local government and the central government, by Guangdong Province, Guangzhou City, and the Tianhe-2 is developed by the National University of Defense and Technology, which I worked before, and also the Sun Yat-sen University, which I work now. And in September 2015, the management and operation of the center entrusted to the Sun Yat-sen University. So now the center of Guangzhou is only one supercomputer center which closed combined with university in China. We have totally 6 national supercomputer centers in China, but only the center in Guangzhou closed combined to a university. And I'll give you some technology points of Tianhe-2. Firstly, Tianhe-2 is we call it near heterogeneous architecture. So it's a heterogeneous architecture pool system, but this time we use CPU plus mic. As you know, when we developed Tianhe-1 system, Tianhe-1A, which have top one, and in year 2010, at that time we use CPU plus GPU, but on Tianhe-2 we use mic. It's just because some people asked me why, but the only answer is that we consider the program model. So for mic, we have a same program model with the CPU. And another thing is I want to mention is that we use our proprietary high-speed interconnection network, which developed by an NUDT. Actually, the interconnection network on Tianhe-2 is the 4th generation of our custom interconnection network. And this time we have a very high bandwidth and low latency. Especially for the bandwidth, we have reached 12.8 gigabytes per second on MPI level. So the application could get that benefit from that high bandwidth. And also we have designed a hybrid hierarchy storage architecture. So, and our own H2 files, FS file system. So it's a three levels storage architecture. So it's convenient to fit the many applications I/O requirements. And also we have the software stack with the conventional HPC software stack, as well as the the big data and cloud computing software stack, such as we also provide OpenStack and Hadoop over Tianhe-2. As you know, Tianhe-2 has been #1 on top 500 list since for 6 times. Yeah, it's a new new world record, and since year 2013 and to year 2016. And now the #1 is also another Chinese supercomputer, Shenwei Taihu Lite. And another thing I want to mention that Tianhe-2 has been #1 HPCG benchmark for 5 times. Until last IC, which K Computer take the HPCG #1. Yeah. So another background is from supercomputer in NUDT. So in China, NUDT is a very important university for the development in the development history in China in supercomputer. We have developed the first supercomputer in China, and the first gigaflops, first teraflops, and first paraflop system in China. And we also developed 2 #1 system. One is the Tianhe-1A, and another is Tianhe-2. Actually, now the Tianhe-2 system in Guangzhou Center is the first phase of the Tianhe-2 system. And at end of this year, we'll upgrade this system to 100 petaflop system to finish this Tianhe-2 project and look forward to the next generation. And the supercomputer center, as I mentioned before, we totally have 6 national supercomputer centers in China, which the right start is equipped by Tianhe system, including Tianhe-1A and Tianhe-2. So in the south part of China, the red star, and then below it's our center, Guangzhou there. And another 3 blue star is the other supercomputer center in China, including the Wuxi Center, which have now the #1 system, Taihu Lite, Shenwei Taihu Lite. The peak performance of Shenwei system reached to 112, more than 120 petaflop peak. And the impact performance is also more than 90 petaflops, so it's very high. And another 2 is in Jinan and Shenzhen. So you can see that half of the Chinese National Supercomputer Center equipment Tianhe system. So the NUDT and Tianhe plays a very important role in China's supercomputer. And for our center, we focus on the 3 aspects of applications. Maybe it's different from US and Europe, even Japan, because we are focused on besides the science and technology, we also focus on the engineering and industry upgrade. Because you can see that for the Tianhe-2 system, we're supported by the central government as well as the local government. So there are so many application requirements come from the various application fields. So besides the scientific conventional HPC application, we have many requirements come from the local company, industry company, and also government for the smart city and for the precision medicine and others. I will mention later. So on the Tianhe-2, the applications, we have most of the of the application, more than 70%, it's come from the conventional HPC application. But there are other 30% come from the big data and cloud computing. And that percentage increased very faster recent years, especially last year. So our users come from a university, institute, as well as the company and government in everywhere in China, and as well as Hong Kong and Macau. For the overseas, the foreign users, we only support the people who has the joint project with Chinese partner. So if you have a joint project with the Chinese partner, you can apply to access the Tianhe-2 system. And totally, in the past 3 years, we have more than 1,700 users, end users from all over the world. And we supported national research projects, more than 800, and also local projects, research projects. And I will give you some cases. It's a small part of our applications running on Tianhe-2. For the the traditional HPC application, such as atmospheric and oceanic applications. For example, we have China Sea high-resolution oceanic and atmospheric cooperated model running on the Tianhe-2, which cooperated with the FVCOM and WRF. So we optimized the whole algorithm and the I/O part and the communication part for running faster on Tianhe-2. And beside this two cooperate, we'll also cooperate another model in these models. Now we can, finish the 10-day global ocean prediction of the current, wave, and temperatures. It can be completed in 25 minutes on Tianhe-2. And every day, there are many data transfer from Europe and USA come to our center. And we dramatically reduce the I/O time on internet, and also the processor time. So that platform is working on Tianhe-2, very stable, more than 5 months. And another example is for the high-resolution numerical weather prediction, which use the GRIPS. It's a Chinese development. There's a Chinese domestic weather forecast model. It's very famous in China. So the GRIPS, we now supported, the Guangzhou city, 3 kilometers and 1 kilometers resolution weather forecast on Tianhe-2, and this is a business running platform. So it could say it's a first business running weather forecast system on national supercomputer in China. So the Metropolitan Bureau in China, everywhere they have their own system, but this one is the first business running system for weather forecast in supercomputer center in China. So we could generate the weather forecast for the next 6 hours in every 12 minutes. So it run 8 times every day. So on Tianhe-2. And another part is as the astronomy and geophysics. The first example is a simulation of the neutrino and large-scale structure of universal. We used more than 300 SARM cores to complete the simulation of the cosmic evolution started from Big Bang in 40 hours. It's a team from the Beijing Normal University, Professor Zhang and his team to finish the work on Tianhe-2. And another one is the millennial earthquake simulation. It's 2 years ago, we collaborated with the TUM team and to finish the simulate seismic wave propagation of the, the Lander earthquake of California this application used more than 1.6 million cores, hybrid cores, CPU and mic, and which was on the finalist for the Golden Bell Prize in year 2014. And for the engineering part, so Tianhe-2 successfully support the Chinese aircraft design, the plane C919. So supported to the aerodynamic optimization of the commercial aircraft to reduce the aerodynamic simulation time to 6 days versus 2 years. So it's improved the whole design processors for the Chinese big plane. And also in ship designer, we supported the Chinese famous ship company, the GSI in Guangdong. Some European, the oil and the cargo ships designed by GSI. It's their business is all over the world. And we supported them to R&D the 10,000 tons the cargo vessel to improve, the design efficiency and the power and the whole the ship, the whole processes of the ship design. And we also supported the aerodynamic simulation for the express train, the bullet train in China. The express train in China now is very famous all over the world, but the design, all the train design work is very hard and supported by Tianhe-2 for more than 2 years. Yeah. And for energy and material applications, I want to give you 2 examples. One's for the wind power system design. We have helped the 2 of the most famous Chinese wind power company. One's for the Yuanjing and another is Jingfeng. They use Tianhe-2 to improve the turbulent design and global wind power prediction, and also do the optimization in site selection and project evolution. So they use Tianhe-2 to design and management the whole wind power system design and running, and to improve the yield 20% higher every year. And for the advanced functional materials and energy material, recently there's a work done by CAS researchers that use the Tianhe-2 and found the low electron thermal conductivity in vanadium dioxide at a high temperature. And the result published on Science this January. Another one that I want to talk is we worked our efforts on the biology and the medicine application fields. So the first one, we have done the high throughput virtual drug screen. Actually, we have a platform, software platform on Tianhe-2. We could use more than 1.3 million hybrid cores, including the CPU and mic. And we can complete the screen of 42 million compounds in 1 day. So the docking, the molecular compounds docking, it's very faster on Tianhe-2. And also for the genomic big data analysis, we collaborated with the BGI for years and supported them to finish the screen for the 2,000 human genetic deep screen data. The data totally is more than 15 petabytes. It's I/O density, so it's applications. We do more optimization for the I/O processor, and as well as the job scheduling for this high throughput applications. And another one, interesting one, is the simulation of retina Yeah, we collaboration worked with Peking University team. We do the fine model of the monkey retinal neurons, and to analyze the topology of the primate fowl. This is a part of the Peking brain project, and is also the primary project of the Chinese brain. So it's we were still working on that. So it's a very interesting project. Besides the kind of the HPC or data-intensive application, we also supported many cloud computing. So this application is running on our cloud computing or Tianhe 2. For example, large-scale video processing platform to support the graph, image, and the video analytic, such as the transportation management in Guangzhou and in other cities. And we also have the rendering cloud to support it, the video, the animated movies, and the game to finish the rendering. Yeah, it's several large companies, especially part of them work for the Hollywood movies producer. And another thing is for the 3D home design platform. It's done by a new, very new and young company from Guangdong. It's now its end users is more than 250,000 users use that 3D home design platform. Yeah, including the end users in China and in Europe. And we also established some, the cloud computing platform for the e-government applications. And in our center, we, besides the service for the HPC and cloud computing big data applications, we also focus on the high performance and big data training program. And we also have done some work for the science education, such as the supercomputer open days and the summer campers and the summer school for the young people. We try to broadcast the supercomputing culture in the young generations. And we also have many international collaboration partners all over the world, including Europe, and as well as the US and other places. Now I want to give you some detail of Chinese research projects going. I mentioned before, the 683 project was ended last year. And since year 2016, Ministry of Science and Technology announced a new national project, R&D project. This is totally new systems. For HPC projects, there are different description of the project support. So for HPC projects, in year 2016, we the most announced totally 19 projects. You can apply, submit proposal to apply that. What important things in this HPC project is that last year we started 3 exascale pilot system, prototype system for the pre-research for the exascale system in China. So we supported the 3 systems in parallel, including Tianhe successor and the Shengwei and Shuguang. So the 3 was get support about this project. And besides the prototype, after this 3 prototype system, there are 2 years projects. So until year 2018, we will choose one of the 3 to the next generation exascale supercomputer. And beside the architecture part, we also have the computational physics model and the numeric methods for exascale systems. and also support some projects for the programming framework and the HPC environment service and supporting system. And one I want to mention is the HPC education platform. Yeah, it's try to combine the whole supercomputer centers to provide the HPC education. And also we have two HPC numerical simulator, including aircraft and Earth simulator, and others typical HPC applications. So there are totally 19 projects approved last year, and the money is 310 millions. This is just one, the funding approved last year. Actually, totally in the five-year plan, 13th five-year plan, we have more than 4.5 billion RMB for the HPC project, including the access scale computer. Another trick is a cloud and big data project. So it's also a 5-year plan. So I list here is a project approved in last year. So including the software-defined cloud computing, basic serial and methods, and big data storage technology and platform, and data flow-oriented big data analytic system, and so on, and also including the human-computer interaction and VR and AR. So there are totally 15 projects approved, and related funding is 389 million RMB in last year. And there are totally more than 4.8 billion RMB in 5 years. So yeah, it's huge project. So, you know, the most have put much more efforts on HPC and cloud computing and big data. Yeah. Another one I want to introduce is it's a big data science research center related just for us, Tianhe system. You know, this is a NSFC and Guangdong province joint project based on Tianhe. This is also a 5-year plan, and we have 300 million RMB. This is executed by NICC Guangzhou. That projects could be applying by the teams all over the China, and must submit their application platform or the technology used on the Tianhe. So all the application softwares and applications, platforms applications need to run on Tianhe. So the big data projects focus on smart city because it's half of funding projects, a local government, half of the funding. So the care about the smart city. So this is we have a 6 district of this project, including the transportation, medical and health, disaster prevention, finance, education, and the social management. So it's we can see that it's a big chance for the big data convergence with HPC in China. So we try to convergence of talents and the technology resource joint to solve the key problem of big data science. But you know, the Tianhe designed for HPC. So the research on that part is focused on that. We're based on Tianhe, and we also extending storage system. You know, nowadays Tianhe system only have the 15 petabyte storage system. We will extending it to 100 petabyte in 3 years. So over that, we will focus on the basic model and the algorithm oriented to big data analysis. And we also need to do the research on the big data analysis and the parallel processing platform, and to establish some domain-specific parallel support framework, support for the, you know, the video, medical health, and intelligence and also finance and government administration and others. So the big data support more and more big data applications. So in China, the part of around Guangdong province, we call it Pearl River Delta National Areas. So this economic popular places. So we need to establish a Pearl River Delta National Big Data Integrating Test Zone. So it will be the pioneer of the big data and HPC convergence part in China. So this is a application scale in the next 5 years with the computation performance increase, and also the data scale increase. You may see this chart in the IC year 2015. Yeah, we definitely will finish it at the end of this year. So we will change the KNC with our own domestic accelerators, and we'll keep the Intel CPU, but we will have our own customer CPU totally in the systems, and we will increase the capacity of the memory as well as the storage, and we will enhance some, the software configurations. And for the state-of-the-art system, as I mentioned before, we need to support HPC as well as the cloud computing and big data applications. So we have done some efforts on that. So enhance the design of the original Tianhe-2 system. We focused on the 3 parts: the communication enhancement, and also the I/O enhancement and the software stack enhancement. So we use the Tianhe Express 2 Plus network, especially besides the RDMA, the high bandwidth and low latency communication protocol, we also developed the TCP/IP protocol over the Tianhe Express 2 Plus, because there are many applications that, especially the third-party applications, only can take benefit from the TCP/IP. There are no RDMA versions. And for the I/O enhancement, we have designed hybrid storage structures, and we have our own hybrid hierarchy file system and data management. We'll try to manage different file systems, and as well as different, the database, because our users, for example, from the precision medicine users, they have some many kinds of file systems and the database they use. So we try to integrate it all in our the systems. And also we have a software stack enhancement. We designed a Killing Cloud platform, and we also design and implement the Starlight software stack. So this is I will skip that. So the TCP/IP over the Tianhe Express 2, we could have more than 10 gigabyte per second bandwidth over the node-to-node. And this is a hybrid storage structure, storage hierarchy. We can get burst bandwidth, the burst I/O bandwidth, about 1 terabyte per second, because we have the I/O middle level, the I/O nodes with SSD, and we could get the sustained bandwidth about 100 gigabyte per second, and we could support in situ data analysis, and could support many API of the I/O processors. And this is a software stack for big data, and we above the Killing OS, we design the S and parse level software, and we have a domain-specific analysis layer, specialized, the processing framework and applications. So we also have the HPC and big data convergence stack, the software stack. So it's very hard to combine the HPC application and the big data application together in one system. So we work now is on a high level. So we control the application workflow management, and we take the benefit of our, the hybrid hierarchy file system and the data management. And we also, what we've done now is we have a part of the Tianhe nodes. We reconfigured the software for support cloud computing, OpenStack, and Hadoop. And we have most part of the nodes of the Tianhe 2 system running for the HPC part. But we have a uniform schedule. Actually, we have a two-level resource management systems. So this can unify the single API provided to our users. You can enter our access of system from the uniform the interests. So we will do this better. So we are still working on that. So basically on Tianhe 2, now we have a project for support National Application Software Center. The core center is Guangzhou Center based in Tianhe 2, and we will involve, there are other 10 supercomputer centers all over China. So we try to combine HPC and big data. We have two, you can see that the first one and the last one is it's a software development workflow platform. It's a application support platform. And for the last one is the education platform for HPC and big data. And we try to establish a domain-specific HPC and big data analysis platform for different application fields. And we try to gather the software and the library on the supercomputer and to support the different applications. So this will be a 4-year project. After that, we hope to establish an ecosystem of the HPC and big data for the supercomputer in China. For the summary, I will say that in the future, including the post-petaflop system and the exascale system, in my personal view, it will still be heterogeneous architectures. So the system become more and more complex. And for the applications, we try to, of end users, the domain-specific scientists always couldn't fully understand about architecture. So we need to establish the software, the platform to support it, to connect the end users and architecture designers. So we need to establish adaptive system, the software design, and also, whether you like or not, the HPC and the big data convergence is a trend. So we try to take care about that. It's established HPC and big data convergence platform and to establish the supercomputing ecosystem. So during this procedure, we need collaborations in